Mr. NTIAMOAH, welcome to Joy News. The world all over, our livelihood is now dictated by coronavirus. Um, how have you been coping?
It has not been easy as a boxing promoter and manager because our work evolves around events, and due to this COVID-19, events must be suspended till further notice because we don't know how the trend will go in terms of the how the infections will spread and how soon vaccine or maybe cure will be uh, um, out or found. So it's like we are in a limbo. We don't know what to do now. But it's been very big challenge for me per se as a promoter and manager at the same time because I have a couple of boxes that I do manage and others that I do promote. With the promotion aspect, that is my livelihood. So it's very hard for me to even plan my next show. Secondly, on the management aspect is something else because you have a contractual agreement with boxers that you need to advance weekly allowances to them to be able to train. Though there is a ban on social gathering and all that stuff, but boxers do train on their own to keep themselves in shape so that in future when the ban is over, they can participate in fights. But as a manager, you need to advance to them weekly allowances or maybe monthly allowances. And that has been a very big challenge for me because once you have a contractual agreement with them, you need to fulfill your part. And so that has been the problem that I've been facing since this COVID-19 outbreak.
Talking about contractual agreement that you have to fulfill and all that. Before I'll get into the nitty gritties of those things, as an investor in the sport, if you're to approximate within a month or two now, you've not been able to organize events and all that, you still have contractual agreements to fulfill. How much of an impact has it had on you?
Actually, I have a show which supposed to happen in March, on March 7th, but the main bout, one of the boxers pulled out due to injury. So I rescheduled it to May 30th. And the problem has been challenging for me because I need to get the show done on May 30th. But once there is this COVID-19 thing, I need to reschedule it, and I don't know when and where. But per the management side, I spend not less than 1,000 Ghana cedis on boxes weekly because I need to sustain it. You have about 4 or 5 boxes that you need to take care of weekly, and it's very challenging. You have a staff that you do work with in the office. You need to pay them, and you know our business involves around events, and events thrive only on sponsorship. So once the companies are not doing well to come on board to sponsor you, you don't have any bulk money sitting there to pay salaries and pay boxes allowances. So it's very challenging.
What is the secret that has kept you going all this while in these difficult times?
Actually, as a human being, you need to have a lifetime savings, and sometimes when there is issue like this, you need to fall on that. Though it will affect your family very well, but you need to understand that your workers and your people that you do work, they are part of your family, and so sometimes you need to squeeze and also make some provision for them because COVID-19 will not end the world. At the end of the day, it will subside and things will come, return to normalcy. And once it's my business, I can't afford to ignore my boxes and all that stuff so that in future when this COVID-19 is over, I don't know what to fall on. So I'm squeezing myself in a way to be able to cater for them.
The upcoming fight you were talking about, just in the next few days, we are going to be in May. What is the future of that fight like?
Actually, the boxers are training individually. I've been in contact with them, and they also know that there's a situation on the grounds. We're just looking at the trend of the COVID-19 in terms of how we are recording new cases and the rate of recovery and all that stuff. And I'm hoping that it won't be long, that maybe some medicine will be found for treatment, or maybe vaccine will be found. It's very, very difficult, but looking at I've spoken to the camps of the two boxers, and we are looking at any time that the COVID-19 pandemic is over, that government opens social gathering and all that stuff, we'll make it happen.
Is that to say that May 30 is definitely out of the way?
Yeah, definitely. May 30th is out of the way because, you need to have, an ample time to plan around it. At the end of the day, you need to draw a media strategy. You need to get sponsorship to come on board. You need to make arrangements from different places. And for now, GBA is not giving any sanctioning for any fight at the moment. All activity has been suspended in terms of promotions. So until that ban is lifted, before I'll be able even to apply for, though the 30th is pending, but the 30th is not pending because it has been cancelled. GBA cancelled all events. So now I need to apply for sanctioning for that fight. And until the COVID-19 is over, before GBA can give sanction to new bouts. So May 30th is out of the picture.
Have you had conversation with the boxers about the contract agreement you have with these boxers and the possibility of reviewing those contracts because of COVID-19?
Yeah, actually, with our contract, we have a force majeure clause that we have to invoke into this COVID-19 outbreak. So it's understandable, and it's not only about strictly contract, but they are also human beings. They understand things, and they also they have their life attached to boxing as the job they do. So actually, the camps are okay, and they are praying that things return to normalcy because they are eager to be in that fight. So I believe we won't have any problems rescheduling the dates for the fight.
The last time you and I spoke about this very fight, you did mention about how it was good. It was more of an opportunity for these boxers to go and fight. Is it the continental level, right?
Yeah, it's a Commonwealth final eliminator, and the winner will be fighting against the Commonwealth champion. Probably it might be in the UK or elsewhere. So it's very, very challenging. And as I'm saying, I pray that not only we have the problem solved within our shores only, but around the world. I'm praying that a vaccine will come out, or maybe some medicine will come out that can, cure the disease, so that things will return to normalcy. But if by God's grace we are able to get out of the ban on on social gathering and all that stuff, and GB opens up for new sanctioning, it will happen. And whoever wins, if the Commonwealth champion is ready and things are okay at wherever jurisdiction that they want to make the fight, that is what we will follow. So for now, I can't say much about it, but I'm praying that things return to normalcy.
Earlier, you talked about how every blessed week you spend like 1,000 Ghana cedis on boxers for training and all that. This COVID period, have you had a discussion with them, like going like, Okay, I'm supposed to give you 200 Ghana cedis to train, but because of this period, I'll give you like 100 Ghana cedis. Have you had such discussions?
Actually, what I'm planning is to have them have a meeting with them probably close of today, and so that I'll be able to advance, maybe because it's weekly, I can advance some 1 month money to them to let them know that with that they can use to buy some food stuff and all that stuff. So maybe instead of 1 month pay can take them like 2 months, so that they can tend themselves with that. And so I spoke to them on phone about it, and I'm yet to make the cash available. It's not being easy, but I'm trying all my best so that by close of the week I'll be able to make that cash available for them, so that they can tend themselves with that.
Alex, how frustrating is this?
Sometimes it gives me sleepless nights because I don't know when things will return to normalcy, and I kept on spending, and I don't know. I'm even afraid it will affect even my family and myself, because I don't know where to turn to, because even with boxing issues, sometimes you need to fall on loan to, prepare the grounds for shows. Now nobody will be ready to give you any loan because he knows there's this COVID-19 out there, and nobody knows when things will return to normalcy. So it's very, very frustrating. Sometimes it's very hard for me even to sleep.
Yes, can we change the angle so that I reposition myself this way? Not the way it's happening to me. Okay. You are a direct investor in the sport of boxing. You've talked about how it has affected you to the extent that if you don't take your time, it might even affect your ability to take care of your family and all that. Do you now see this to be demoralizing in investing to the game of boxing?
Actually, pandemics are pandemics. It's not only for boxing, but it has affected a lot of businesses around the world, not only in Ghana. It gives you a head up to know what to do in future and how you should prepare in future, because at the end of the day, the way things are happening, I don't know, like you said, is something like discouragement, in the sport. But actually, it's one thing that I love to do, and I don't have any plans now to divert in. But it gives you the foreknowledge of how to prepare for future events, so that even if you are investing into boxing and you have some fortunes or some money in it, you need to diversify into other areas that in future pandemics like this or anything disastrous financially will not affect only one place that you put your investment into. So in life you take risk for everything, and if you're able to succeed, you succeed. So though it's discouraging, not only this pandemic, but even the investment that you put into boxing for over 12 years now, I've been consistent in promoting, not only because the business is smooth for me, but it's very, very hard, even sometimes it's very hard even to break even for the events that I use. And I've run at a very big losses, very, very huge ones, that it took me a long time even to repay debt that I incur out of that fight. But still, I have the motivation to still be in the game, because I believe in future I'll be able to break through with some big sponsorship, a long-term sponsorship that can turn things around in my life as a promoter and manager of boxing. So
just a quick one. Why do you keep investing in the sport when you're running at losses?
Actually, first and foremost, it's my passion. boxing is my passion. Secondly, the community that I'm coming from is predominant with boxing, the sport of boxing, and I can't see my folks training without being promoted. And it's very, very hard, but I try all the time to sustain it, not only looking at myself, but other people that their livelihood depends on boxing, because most people that are into boxing, I think if they are not into boxing, they might end up to be social vices. And I think that has been my motivation to all the time do running at a loss, but to still invest into the game. And also I believe nothing good come by easy. It's very hard, but in future when there is a big sponsor that want to invest into boxing, with my track record, I might be the first on the line to maybe gain that privilege. So that is my motivation all the time.
Can you quantify how much you've lost in investing in boxing?
It's very, very hard. I can tell you with one fight that I had that people even saw was very, very huge. BANKU vs BASTI SAMIR. The budget was about 239,000 Ghana cedis for the show. I was able to make revenue of 104,000. That is 98,000 from the gates, and about 8,000 from sponsorship. It was 10,000, but you have to pay marketing. The marketers some percentage, so about 104,000 at the end of the day. Take into consideration some of the tickets that I gave out as a complimentary, and some of the boxes and all that stuff, the revenue will be around 150,000. But what actually I got from the proceeds were around 104,000, and take into consideration 239,000 investment into the whole thing, then about 135,000 lost. It was a very big loss, but I had that in mind because I gambled on that fight because I knew BASTI SAMIR is a very good boxer. He could give BANKU some good fight. And the reason why I wasn't able to get sponsorship for the total budget was because a lot of people thought by then that boxes that are being handed over to BANKU are not up to standard, and it's going to be one way how it always end up. So some sponsors were not interested initially, but when the table turned, a lot of sponsors called me and they had wanted to invest big time into it, and that was the reason why I had wanted to have the rematch. But because of BANKU's issue of not being strict with me in terms of wanting, because we signed a contract to that effect. I have given him some advance in the advance as far as the purse is concerned, but he kept on postponing. Let's do it this, let's do it that, let's do it this. And sponsors would not want to work with events that are not that has no definite time or period. So it was very hard for me, but still I've been in talks with some sponsors who are ever ready to come on board if that fight is going to happen.
Is the fight still going to happen?
The other time, I spoke to BANKU and he was telling me he's ready for it, but we should look at the numbers in terms of the purses. He wants something bigger. He was asking me for 150,000 Ghana cedis before he could take that fight. But we spoke for a while, and he was reasonable if I could get him some 100,000 before he could take that fight. But it's very, very huge budget. But I pray it will worth it if a sponsor come on board and we have that fight happen.
Did he refund the first one, the first payment you made to him?
You say?
Did he refund the first one you paid to him when he had agreed that the rematch should happen?
No, he has not refunded that money. The money has not been refunded. It's still with him. And there is a pending case before the GBA, of which interim judgment has been given that until he pays me that money, he will not be able to involve in any fight here in Ghana or even outside. GBA is not ready to support him with any documentation for him to travel outside for as far as boxing is concerned, or even in Ghana to sanction any of his fights. Yeah, so the only thing is if he agrees to the rematch, then we can go on the table, and then I write to the GBA to reverse that decision so that we can have that fight. I have every right per the contract to sue for damages and all that stuff, but sometimes you need to be reasonable. These are same people that you do work with, and because it made me lost a lot of money, because there were sponsors on board who were ready, about 3 sponsors who were ready, and in total I could come up with a sponsorship package of about 350,000 Ghana cedis for that rematch. And I've invested into it, and I thought that would be the way to recoup my old investment and also be able to make some money. But it pulled out about 2-3 times, and that opportunity went away. So that is what happened.
How much was it?
The money was 17,000 Ghana cedis that I advanced to him. It was not handed to him in bulk, but as and when he needs some money, you tell me, well, I need some money, because he needs money to train, and I thought that is the way to go. And by then, I advanced some money to BASTI SAMIR for him also to train with. And for him, he was ready for the fight. And so if the fight couldn't happen, you can't go back to him to retrieve that money from him. So it's like not only a loss from Banku side, but a loss from BASTI's side too. About 5,000 Ghana cedis. So in total about 22,000. And we had the second bout that's supposed to happen. We had a signing on ceremony with media, and you rent a venue, you put up some canopies, chairs, you prepare the place for the event to happen, and also you spend some money on it. So it's very, very hard, but I have nothing to do about it. Just praying that he resigned his decision to come on board for the fight.
Now, Box Office Promotions, are you a registered company?
Yes, it's a registered company with the Registrar General Department, incorporated in October 2008. It's a limited liability company. Yeah.
The President of Ghana announced a stimulus package for such companies. Have you thought of applying for some?
Yeah, we have a regulatory body, which is the Ghana Boxing Authority, and even by Ghana Boxing Authority's regulations, there are individual promoters who does not need even a Registrar General Department's registration before you can apply for a license. So you can apply for a license as an individual company, or maybe as an individual like NTIAMOAH as a boxing promoter, and that gives you the authority, legal right to promote boxing. So in as much as you have your promotional company, you still apply the license individually in your own way. So I think as the regulatory body, you can't do anything without them. You need to channel it through them so that they can, you know, give you a backing for such a stimulus package that you want to get from them. So I've spoken to the Secretary General the other time, and he told me he has not heard anything, but they will be having a meeting maybe by next week with some of the board members. Maybe they can discuss and to see how best it could do. Because not only us as promoters, but the boxers too, they are suffering. So there should be a way to see how best we can do for the industry.
Mr. Alex, I just want to wrap up this conversation with my last two questions, and I hope I wouldn't be asking follow-up questions from those things. You've promoted big bars. I remember the famous one I watched, BUKOM BANKU vs Ayute Powers, which was arguably, in my opinion, one of your biggest promotions in the country. You've built that standard. What does the future look like for box office promotions and NTIAMOAH? Is he still motivated to keep promoting fights after 12 years?
Actually, through my years of experience, I've been able to make some contacts with some foreign promotional companies and managers around the world. I'm in talks with MTK. MTK is a very big company in terms of boxing management. They have over 150 boxes managing across the world, of which Tyson Fury is with their stable. And they have a deal with Top Rank, through Top Rank with ESPN. They have a deal with ESPN through Top Rank. So what they do is they promote shows in the UK. They work with local promoters in UK, Azerbaijan, UK, Dubai, and Kazakhstan. And so they are looking at Ghana. They have one boxer here that they do manage, Joyashi, of which I promote him. So it's like now I have that kind of relationship, and looking at having a series that we can produce a high quality boxing shows that can be put on ESPN on the Go platform, like the online platform. And also they will be bringing some of their boxers, foreign boxers, here to be fighting on our shows. So it's something that I think is going to push my company very high. Moreover, I have a proposal of which I'm in talks with the GBA for their backings to be presented to government, because boxing is one sport that has won more laurels than any other sport in Ghana. And with the following that we have, we can project Ghana on the international level through our local promotions, of which maybe if it's been aired on ESPN, in between the breaks we can have commercials for, like, I've seen a commercial from Ghana Investment Promotion Council, of which to attract investors to come into Ghana. And so in between the breaks of fights, we can have that commercial slot for that kind of commercial, so that it can project. And so it's not like government supporting for free, but to get something in return, you know, and at the same time exposing the boxers on the international scene. Because before a boxer could get to Las Vegas to fight, if he's already on ESPN, though he's fighting here from Ghana, he's on ESPN, at least it's already known, and that will give him some marketing power to be able to attract big purses in terms of his future world championship fights. And it supports the economy, the sport and the economy as well.
Now, my final question. You mentioned something interesting that I liked about big fights. There are people who say that in Ghana, we should be able to have our two big boxers fight each other. By the way, you were able to put together BASTI SAMIR and then BUKOM BANKU. There are others who say that if assuming Richard Comey and then Isaac Dogo were in the same weight division, they could have fought. This way, they can pull crowd to this bounce, and marketing-wise, there will be more eyeballs for the international market. So when these boxers are going out there to fight, they will be appreciated, so that boxing promoters will not come and give them $2,000, $3,000 and take them out there to go and fight. What do you make of two known big boxers in Ghana fighting each other?
With box office, our policy has always been to give the boxing fans what they want, the kind of fight they want to see. So sometimes it's very, very hard to bring those fights together, but we try our best, because if you want Isaac Dogbe caliber or Richie Comey or maybe against Emmanuel Tegu, that kind of competition, then you should prepare to put some big money on the table. And it's very, very hard to do so, because sponsorship is very hard to come by. So we are unable to put that kind of fight there for the boxing fans to watch. But actually, with my company, we've been able to do a lot of fight, because when I had IT Powers in BUKOM BANKU, that fight, that was the biggest purse by then locally, because about 2014 or so, 2014, 2015, 2014, about 6 years ago, and I paid Banku about 35,000 and IT Powers 25,000. So you could see the kind of money. By then, it wasn't Banku's last fight that he fought, the purse that he got before he had that fight with my promotional company. He was fighting under Golden Mike Promotion, and the highest that I lent was 5,000 Ghana cedis. But with my show, he got about 35,000 Ghana cedis, and IT Power was 25,000. So it was some huge investment that I made, and it was a risk that I took. So that is what I've been doing all the time, to be able to put all the best fighters together so that people can enjoy it. Not that we should do some shoddy fights and all that stuff. And that is the only way to build the marketing of the sport. And so we try to do our best as a promotional company. But in everything, I'm urging the government to support, because I learned before this COVID-19 thing, I learned that government is ready to support football, the local, the league, the winners will be going for the Champions League. They will be giving some 150,000 Ghana cedis, and those who will be going $150,000, and those who will be going for Confederation Cup will be giving 100,000 Ghana cedis. So if you total this, you add up this money, it could be about 250,000 per year to them. And if we could get some kind of money like that, like 250,000 a year for boxing, maybe for 3 years, or maybe 4 years period, maybe $1 million for 4 years as government package for boxing. Not only box office alone, but other promoters will be, because GBA now have the Fist of Fury, BUKOM Fist of Fury boxing thing, and Moses Swamani was doing very, very good with it in terms of trying to put that thing together to be able to support the local promoters with the leadership of Mr. Peter Zwenis. So with that kind of this thing package, we could have the BUKOM Fist of Fury, maybe 6 good shows, not for big shows, maybe 6 shows in a year, within shared among 3 promoters, so that at least every 2 months there could be a show, a very good show, that we could get fights, international fights, bringing international boxers to fight our local boxers here for maybe continental titles, world title eliminators and all that stuff. And with that kind of package, I believe within 2-3 years we'll be able to raise more world champions, and it's not going to be like some money that will go down the drain, but it will revive the quality of boxing in Ghana, and that will be an attraction for sponsors to come on board, because once the thing is, there is money there, everything is on point, it's an attraction for sponsors to come also to take over.
Thank you, but it will be criminal of me not to ask this question. They say our boxers are not durable. Isaac Dogbe won his title, first defense, next one he lost. Richard Kwame, first defense, next one he lost. Are our boxers durable? And this is my last question.
They are very, very durable, but you know, boxing is a very big business, and most of the time the competition is very, very high. What we need to do is, when we have our boxers winning world titles, we also need to get our government to support, because once the promoters outside our shows calling for the shots, they will always put you into competitions that maybe sometimes you will not be prepared for, because at the end of the day they will not announce to you how you are going to defend, and within a short possibility. I've seen a fight that I don't say we are not treated fairly, but I've seen a fight like Joseph Agbeku against Abner Mares. We saw a lot of low blows. At the end of the day, he lost, of which if it happens to be Agbeku doing what Mares did, he would have been disqualified. So if you are not ready to support or put in some good money there, it's very, very hard. Like this guy, Richie Comey, he would have become a world champion even before he became a world champion, because he had a fight, eliminator in Russia against Shabikov. Yes, he lost by majority decision. And if there is a fight in Russia, and you know, I had the privilege of watching the footage, and he didn't lost for me, per my judgment. He didn't lost. So if government would have spent some money to get him this eliminator here, he would have become a world champion. You know, there's this guy from Congo, Makabu. Yes. He won the WBC Cruiserweight Championship. You know, government spent about $1.2 million in there for him to be able to win that title. And, you know, it brings focus on their country, and after he goes elsewhere, he'll be able to fight for big money. So I believe it's the same thing. You know, this guy, Jeff On, he fought against Pacquiao. It was Australian government that spent that money, and, you know, he was able to win. And, you know, it's good for the country and for investors to see what is going on in the country, for them to also come and invest. So I believe government should be up to it to support boxing.
Thank you very much. And I would take government support in boxing to be your last words on this. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're always welcome.